All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show on Onebar with Lupagus. We got a ton of Vikings news, so be sure to stick around until the end. Big thanks to minigrown.com for sponsoring the show as always. One of our favorites, delicious gummies. And guess what? The best part is you can go over to Minigrown, 50% off. Use the promo code ONELUP, ONELUP. 50% off. Crazy.
Putting us together.
Hit them up. Minigrown is the best to make you feel so damn good. Just like some of this Vikings news. Some of it might make you feel good. Some of it might not.
Yeah, we're going to start with probably the least newsworthy topic. But for some reason, this popped up last week as a talker. J.J. McCarthy's weight was an issue. Well, apparently he's back well over 200 pounds now. So everybody who's concerned about J.J. McCarthy's weight, apparently he's been eating some Little Debbie's or something because he's over 200 pounds again.
If you're worried about a player's weight who's been on one leg for a year, man, you got bigger things to worry about. He's over 200. He was only, 218, 220, something like that when they drafted him. So, yeah, this is a non-talker. He hasn't been able to do anything.
And I'm glad it's over. I'm glad it's done.
It's over. Let's move on.
J.J. McCarthy's weight. Let's move on to Aaron Jones. Apparently, it's not just the Vikings who have interest. It's also the Denver Broncos. And the Vikings' interest sounds like they're interested, but they have a price point that they're not willing to budge from. So Jones has a little bit of a market here, and the Vikings aren't interested.
Yeah, and he should have a market. And we're hearing this from a few different – a couple people are putting this out there that the Broncos are interested. And they should. It's a great fit. What I love about it is everybody's saying, the Vikings want him back. And like you said, they just have a price that they're not going to overpay for. And very smart. Aaron Jones is very good. Great running back class coming out. Don't overpay for Aaron Jones as much as we want him back and love him.
We do love him very much. But, yes, glad the Vikings are just going to stick to their guns. Hopefully they do.
I don't think he's coming back. I'm just getting the feelings he is not coming back. I think a team like the Broncos – we'll throw a little bit extra cheddar, and Aaron Jones, the type where he's at in his career, why not? Why not go get the bag?
Maybe he doesn't feel like moving again. I think he's coming back. I think he's going to come back.
I don't know. I just get the feeling he's not.
Well, we have different feelings. Vikings there's a brand new Viking. This guy's a coach, O-line coach Keith Carter. Vikings have hired as an assistant offensive line coach, and this one kind of came with a little bit of controversy because apparently he's not a coach that players really warm up to.
Good. Who cares? You can only have so many Kevin O'Connell, nothing but rainbow and sunshines. Like, you got to have an asshole coach, and that's what he is, and that's fine. Chris Cooper is running this offensive line. He's an assistant offensive line coach. He's going to get Coop some coffee, maybe do some yelling when he has to, but I don't think this moves the needle at all for anything. I don't
think he's the coffee fetcher. I think he's got a bigger role than that.
Everybody's saying, Becton ain't coming here. He was with the Jets. He didn't like it, blah, blah, blah. This doesn't really mean anything. And honestly, the teams he's been on, it doesn't seem like they've had very great offensive lines. So I don't. People are excited about this, but I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't really care that much either. But Keith Carter is your Vikings' new assistant
offensive
line coach.
Welcome to the squad, Keith.
Yeah, apparently Cooper likes 2 scoops of sugar and a little bit of powdered cream.
He's not the coffee guy. I'm just saying, this all comes down to Cooper and the players we have.
All right, so apparently today the Vikings had 2 big meetings. Weren't sure who those were with, but it was speculated they're going to talk contracts with Cam Bynum, Byron Murphy, Harrison Smith, or Daniel Jones, or at least maybe internally discuss what they're going to do with them. So I haven't heard anything that came out of this, but apparently today was a big day for some Vikings and their futures with the team.
Yeah, I didn't see this, so I believe you 100%. But you'd think what? They're going to be like, hey, here's our number. If you go get it out there in free agency, by all means. Good luck, and we wish you well. What else is there to talk about? They're not.
Yeah,
all these guys are going to test for agency. They're going to go try to get as much money as they can. They're not going to. Nobody's going to sign before free agency.
Yeah, and it's weird because we just talked about Aaron Jones having interest from their team. Apparently, Daniel Jones getting interest from Pittsburgh Steelers. Maybe there's other teams that want see him as a potential starter out there. Cam Bynum, if it's him, I think you lowball him, let him test the market, and see if he comes back. That would be my plan there. And Byron Murphy, unless you really give him a great offer, why would he not test the market?
Yeah, the only player that came out of this, like Harrison Smith, like that meeting makes sense. Like, what are we going to do with you? You're going to retire? Are you going to take this much of a pay cut? What are you going to do? And then Daniel Jones, could you imagine being like the Steelers, like a Steeler fan, and you're like, wow, we might sign Daniel Jones, their number one quarterback.
Be our starter.
I love him coming back as a backup, but like that's depressing. That just doesn't sound great.
I just think it's setting him up to fail too, hopping back into that starting role.
Yeah, I mean Jones, God, to go there.
But we don't know. We don't know who they're meeting with. Maybe it was completely different players. Maybe they're meeting with Brian Asamoah.
Maybe they're meeting Keith Carter, our new offensive line coach.
Yeah, maybe they're getting him coffee. We don't know what was going on there. We can only speculate. So Kevin O'Connell did have that press conference. Did mention Christian Darrisaw is doing really well in his rehab process from his ACL. In fact, he said he's killing it.
Darrisaw's legs could not even be attached right now, and Kevin O'Connell would come out and say he's looking good. Everything's on track. He's working hard.
Yeah, he wouldn't say there's a setback unless he actually had to. Like,
I don't know. Has any coach ever said there's been a really bad? He's not doing good. This rehab. Rehab is really behind. I've never heard that ever.
I don't know. I don't think he's lying. I
don't think he's lying. I'm just saying it's just funny when they come out and say this. But they probably haven't talked to the dude in a year. Yeah, he's doing great.
A little less extreme. Like maybe he's just walking in a boot and KLC's like, holy shit, I didn't think he'd be walking yet. Maybe that's what he means by really well. We don't know.
I look forward to the day where a coach comes out and just like, yeah, he's 2 years behind on his rehab.
That's like, Zimmer was getting to that point before he got shit canned. He didn't care anymore. All right, so Vikings, this was brought up. Jonathan Allen's available for trade by the Commanders. Apparently, the Vikings would have a lot of interest in him. To me, again, it just comes, great player, 30 years old, a little bit on the older side, but Jonathan Allen's fantastic. Again, the Vikings just, when it comes to trading, there's not a lot of capital we have right now.
One thing you can trade, if you get over to Maygrown and use that promo code OneLup, you can get a bunch of these, have your friends come over. You could trade.
Yeah, you could trade.
Just like baseball cards.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you could just have a nice little assortment. Yeah, so Jonathan Allen, 30. He's like the 15th highest paid defensive lineman. Last year of his contract. There's a lot of things that go into this. Like, what's the compensation going to be for a 30-year-old defensive lineman on the last year of his contract? And he's also making a ton of money. Like, I don't know. And his play has declined.
And it's a super deep defensive tackle class. And one thing I think we're forgetting about that happens a lot here is let's not forget about the swapping picks, like just moving the position, like moving up here for this. That's a popular thing in the NFL amongst teams, just, same round swapping picks. Like, that could be some way the Vikings get when these guys are available for trade.
Yeah, Allen, it's not going to probably cost a ton to get him. And maybe this is just a guy who just ends up getting cut if he clearly doesn't want to be there. But yeah, I would. He's a very short term thing. If we traded for him, I don't know if I'd be excited or not. I wouldn't be not excited. I wouldn't be not excited, but it's like that doesn't solve the issue. It's just a wet Band-Aid when you're swimming. Barely hanging on. Just barely hanging on.
Is it wet before you jump in?
Yes. Jonathan Allen, though, is fantastic. And yes, I would be excited.
All right. Well, speaking of excited, Najee Thompson always gets us excited when he's on the show, but this is not exciting. 6 more months to go in his rehab, according to a vid that he posted on TikTok. He's hobbling through the hallway of a hospital on crutches, looking sad.
Yeah, it's just always been a mystery, and maybe we need to get him on. Maybe he could actually divulge what actually is going on there, because long, horrible injury. We wish him well. We want his ass back on the field, but that's not good. 6 more months.
Yeah, that puts him late August. The movie just starts. Getting up.
Well, and the dude hasn't
starting, getting ready. Yeah, I know. So there's a long way to go after that. Is this going to be the point where it's going to end up being like some kind of medical settlement? And Vikings are forced to release him. Can you go on season-ending IR twice? Is there a rule against that? I don't even know.
I don't know if there's a rule against that, but the fact that he's 6 more months of rehab, I can't see how he's ready at all during the season. I think he's 25, something like 24, 25. So he's not he's still got some time. We're rooting for him, but damn, not great. Would love to see him out there in those yellow shoes.
It's the best. It's the best. Watching Najee do his thing.
Best. Sorry.
The Vikings also maybe the market for a new punter. Rumblings coming out that they're not happy with Ryan Wright. He's a restricted free agent, and they may not let him be overly restricted. There may be open access to him.
Restricted free agents are basically, hey, if you want me, you got me. And Ryan Wright, all we do is try out punters. That's all we do. I bet we try out the most punters.
Weird punters, though.
Yeah, but that's not a good sign. So they're looking for anybody and anybody. So yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone would be shocked if we had a new punter. We love Ryan Wright. We love the big chubby guy, but he ain't that great.
He's not that great. He started out great. He's kind of fallen off the last couple of years. So potentially new Viking punter. Maybe that's someone I'm gonna start targeting in some simulators that I do, because I do a lot of those.
Hey, we got 5 picks. We're not drafting a punter.
Well, we trade down.
We waste a pick on a punter. Man,
we're gonna accumulate like 8 picks, 10 picks.
I hope so. I hope so.
All right, last nugget that came out, and maybe everybody already knows this, but I didn't really realize this. But Vikings have till next Thursday, March 4th, to put the franchise tag on Sam Darnold, and it sounds like, everybody's saying the Vikings don't get something for him. It's a horrible managerial mispractice, like Kwesi stepping on his dick if they don't get something for Sam Darnold. I think it was Rappaport was on at the combine yesterday and said, the Vikings have, basically the golden ticket in Sam Darnold, that he's the number 1 quarterback out there. But now the news with Matt Stafford coming out, like, I don't know what he's worth. I mean, can you really get a first round? I don't think you can get anything close to a first round pick.
Well, and here's the thing: if you have a trade partner, it doesn't matter if you get a 7th round pick for the dude. I mean, it doesn't matter if you get anything for him. I mean,
no, I think you at least got to get a 3rd or something.
Well,
teams are going to offer a pick to get the rights to negotiate with him. So you're not just going to have one team. I think it's going to turn that into other teams being interested and create a little bidding war. So I don't think just be one team, but I would take a 3rd.
Well, we would take anything, because otherwise it's just we lose him in free agency. Like, it's either you tag him and trade him, but you're not going to tag him unless you know you're trading him. Like, that's already got to be done. Otherwise, you're just going to be screwed. All of a sudden, you're like, oh, shit, nobody wants him. We're stuck with
unless they're truly fine with having him back at that number. I mean, we don't know what they're...
Maybe that's the case, but if they end up trading Sam Darnold for a pair of fresh underpants, it's more than you would have got for him and just letting him walk. So I don't care what they get for him. I don't think they're going to get anything for him. I don't think they're going to tag him. But it's just weird. All the guys in the know, I mean, nobody knows. Nobody knows.
I mean, they're basically saying if they don't get anything for him, it's some of the worst ever.
I don't know. He's a free agent. How many times have we seen players not get tagged and then go sign somewhere? This ain't new.
Apparently, if you have the chance to hang on to the number 1 quarterback in the market and have the ability to trade him, then you have to do it. I don't know.
Need a trade partner that's going to throw some cash. It's going to be a very interesting week. I would love nothing more than for them to tag and trade him, but I think that's asking a lot.
I didn't think it was going to happen. Now I think it's going to happen.
Oh God, that'd be beautiful. Compensation doesn't matter.
I'm taking a 3rd and 5th.
I'd take a 7th. I'd take anything.
2027 4th rounder.
I mean, why not? Otherwise, you don't get anything. I mean, who cares?
Apparently it's something. I hope a lot of teams really want him. I just look at the way he ended the season. I kind of just like, oh shit, he killed his.
Well, Stafford's screwing this whole thing up.
Stafford's screwing it up too. So I don't know. I mean, I hope that someone really believes in Sam Darnold, that they think he can be his future. Tennessee Titans, looking at you.
Titans, Raiders, Giants, Jets. There's a lot of teams out there that need some quarterbacks. Hopefully they want Sam the man. Before we wrap this puppy up, remember minigrown.com. Our friends over there giving the beautiful coupon code 1LUP, 50% off.
1LUP, hell of a deal. Very generous from Minigrown. Thank you so much. And guys, remember this: if Earth suddenly lost all its oxygen, even for a few seconds, most buildings made of concrete would essentially turn to dust.